the solar, that is people, the vibration. People ask about, certain vitamin C, and it's all vitamin C, really, when you take a moment to think that it's all from the solar.
Spinach I picked and put in my smoothie this morning had a lot of vitamin C in it. And it was natural, and it was healthy. And there we come to the next element, the air. When you grow your home garden, you are helping clean the air because you're not putting more pesticides and herbicides. You're using less gasoline. Your greenery is cleaning out all the carbon dioxide and the other things in the air that we don't want. And, again, feeding us back. We take care of the planet, the four elements, the plants, and they take care of us. So beautiful.
So well, it is.
I want to talk about
plant life. It does exactly that, and it's not. It's the antithesis of, a lot of people don't want to mention global warming and all of that, but it is literally. It's for me, it's just a no-brainer. It's just good all the way around. It's the good news, no matter what you believe.
Gardens are the good news. I love that. Thank you. That's so cute. I want to teach something before we end our time that I taught my grandson this morning. He's on a baseball team.
What did you teach him? I love it.
This is for Dallin.
Thank you.
And
Dallin.
He was having a little bit of hard time because he didn't play as well as he wanted to. So I was talking to him about superheroes and superpowers. Plants are superheroes, but here's how what our three main powers are that I want to share with people today that they have as superheroes. And they're all about being positive, so that's what Dallin got to get today. So I said you need to see the positive. So if you look around a room, you don't look at the one little dirty spot where somebody got ketchup on the wall and it didn't get washed off yet. But you look at their house is beautiful, clean as you know. You look at the rest of the room and say, this is a beautiful room. I'm so blessed to live here. The sayings on the walls are beautiful. The furniture's beautiful. The minky blankets are beautiful. And so you notice what's positive is the first superpower that human beings have to vitalize themselves. And plants do that. They move towards what is positive. They move to where there's enough water. They move to where the air is clean. They move to where the soil is good. So gravitate to that which is positive. See the positive. The second one is to affirm the positive. So you vision your future as all positive. In other words, so I don't go and say, well, I'm going to have a broken leg next week. That would be really stupid of me to say that. And I can say, I am living a beautiful life, and I see myself with magnificent gardens. So I vision the garden growing when I walk out there, even before I plant the seeds. So right now we still have a lot of dirt because it's just coming out of winter. But I see the plants full grown and producing fabulous food that I'm enjoying. So see the future as you want it.
See it as you want it.
And the last one I told him is to requalify everything as positive. So if you don't catch the ball in the baseball game, then you look at that and go like, I'm going to learn to correct that and start moving sooner when the batter hits the ball. If you do catch the ball, you're going to see that as positive as well because you're going to say, this is what I did right. So the three powers that plants do, and I taught Dallin this morning to keep practicing with, see the positive. When you look around, notice what is beautiful, what is positive. Secondly, visualize or affirm that positive is coming. So see your beautiful plants growing. And lastly, no matter what happens, so if I go out and there's a whole patch of weeds someplace that because some grass blew in from a neighboring property, I go like, okay, maybe there's some nutrients in that I didn't know the soil needs, and maybe it's just getting me exercise. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to pull those weeds, and my garden's going to be more beautiful, and I'm going to see that as exercise or as beauty in some way. No matter what comes up, qualify. Visualize the positive, see the positive, notice the positive, and requalify everything as positive. So plants do that, and that's why they grow. They grow towards the sun, which is the last of the elements. 4 elements we talked about. The sun feeds also, and plants know to move towards that which is positive and brings them light, love, joy. That's what I pray for ourselves and all of our listeners today. I'm happy to answer other questions, but that was my Church of the Garden that I gave myself this morning.
I love that, and I can see Dallin with you, and with
so cute.
just being with the thoughts of playing baseball and
Yes.
being positive and seeing things that he can, it's not only the garden, but I see
It's
that
everywhere.
you're bringing it all. It's everywhere. And you had said one thing about the power that is, it's just the power within us. Is that right?
Mm. Yes.
The power
it's our superpowers. It's to see positive, absolutely, to bring about a magnificent, winning life. It's all about affirming. So instead of saying I am sick, I say I am strong, I am healthy, I am happy. And those I am statements, I don't know, I kind of wanted to touch on that today, but I think I've probably used all the time
we're going
to
do that when we come back, so that
okay.
you're just right on schedule, and our timing-wise, it's just right on. It's perfect.
Okay.
It's in a divine place right here, right now, and so I thank you, and we're going to come back with a little bit more about what you and I are about, and
yes.
what the I am, and how important the word is and the power of the I am. And so you're here with me, and our wonderful guest today, Susan Whiting, who is with us about her humanitarian garden and sharing with us so many insights. So if you're joining us right now, stay tuned, because there's more to come. And this is Deborah with the Second Genesis Radio Show with Susan Whiting today, and at Dream Vision 7 Radio. And we'll be right back. Thanks for joining us.
Adam T. Gardner here with the HumanAccelerator.org. In an ancient lifestyle I call walking in the medicine, I've discovered piercing insights into how the human body works in a harmonic, symbiotic relationship with the plant kingdom of life. This genetic and epigenetic dynamic gives us, each individual, the power to remove troubles from our bodies without harming or removing any organs. It's an evolutionary next step for mankind, ultimately leading into a human life free of sickness and disease. The details of this reality are in Book 2, called The Second Genesis Transformation, Passage to Spontaneous Regeneration. Go to thehumanaccelerator.org for a copy, or Amazon.com. That's The Second Genesis Transformation, Passage to Spontaneous Regeneration.
What if everything we've experienced is but a pale image of what human life could become? It's now time to bring forward a new set of guidelines to live by, a vision of what human life was meant to be. The Second Genesis Awakening with your host, Deborah Bruin-Tout, singer, songwriter, and intuitive facilitator, will share insights and understandings interwoven with lots of stories from people just like you and I, who have longed for and begun this evolutionary shift of how life works.
Hi, I'm Deborah. Join me every Monday on DreamVision7Radio.com. The show airs at 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Time. See you there.
Adam T. Gardner here with the HumanAccelerator.org. For over 3 decades, I've lived an ancient lifestyle I call walking in the medicine of the plant kingdom. I've not eaten any animal flesh, no meat, no eggs, no fish, no milk, cream, or cheese for 30 years and counting. I've lived and witnessed what modern science says is impossible, and now can share piercing insights into how food is medicine and medicine can be food. I'm writing a series of books called The Second Genesis Awakenings. Book 1 is The Second Genesis Diet, Welcome Home. It's a diet book unlike any diet book ever written, I promise. It's available online at our website, thehumanaccelerator.org. It's also at Amazon.com.
welcome back to the show. And we're here with Susan Whiting today from the Humanitarian Gardens, and we are beginning to talk about the prevention of what that means and a little bit about the things that you wanted to share with the I Am principles. You've got a whole bunch for us, so where do we start?
I do. Maybe let's talk about prevention, early intervention, because as I said in my work history, I started working in a field that was about late intervention when disease and difficulty was already far advanced. And I began to have a heartthrob about prevention and early intervention, so I got further degrees and started to work in higher education where I had a chance to meet people who were ready to learn early before they were in disastrous conditions. And again, I couldn't stress that strongly enough for ourselves and our listeners, our families everywhere, that prevention is so much easier than late intervention. And as I learned to do medical work as well as learning to do mental health and behavioral health counseling work, when people are already in just a horrible mess, it takes so much, and sometimes they are never brought back to their wholeness. But when we start early with prevention, in that we're talking primarily about food today, but a home garden is prevention. And the last show I did, we called it the Clean Dozen, and it's all the things that gardening gave to you, which we won't go into. But when you grow your garden, you are eating the cleanest, healthiest things that you can put into your body that were picked just that moment. And it's about everything.
Especially, Susan, excuse me, but the way you're doing your organic garden, for those that might be joining us, an organic and as much pesticide-free as you can, and it's amazing. So I want to add that to it because you are very conscious with conscious gardening. So,
well, I'm 73 years old, but still very healthy, and I don't want to be filling my body with medications and surgeries that I could prevent in another way. And when we think about, if we start with infants and young children, teaching them the laws of nature, to serve the planet, and they learn that by working in the garden, as we talked about early on. The plants and the earth and the four elements will teach them without even words, because they'll watch it, they'll see it, they'll live it, they'll taste it, and they will grow a desire to eat that which is healthy and nourishing. But it's more than that. It's when we have the desire is the fire which drives our lives truly. When we have the desire for the maximal beauty that we can create for ourselves and others and the planet, then everything we do will have that focus. And so I'm asking that prevention is a focus of living the highest path you can and you know. And that's about eating the healthiest food. And so we had a little piece at the end. We'll talk about the laws of 5. But right now I want to just talk about the early intervention is still, okay, so the day you start having maybe one headache a week or something, and you're drinking 2 soda pops a day, and whatever else you're doing that everyone really knows, that there's enough information on media and internet now that we know what's good for us and what's not.
We do. We know that without any of that. We really do know what's good for us.
Beautifully said. Our internet
just the way it is.
Knows. It knows what's good for us and what's not. So we start early to say, okay, I'm weeding that out of my life, or I'm adding this into my life. So my sweet husband's so nice in the kitchen, but he, in the winter times when oranges and grapefruit are fresh, he squeezes me fresh orange juice or fresh grapefruit juice and natural vitamin C. And if you really tasted a glass of fresh squeezed juice at this time of year and then tried a soda pop, you'd go like, really?